Paul Delaroche was born into the petty lord Delaroche family, a family of artists, dealers, collectors, and art administrators. His father, Grégoire Hippolyte Delaroche, was a prominent art dealer in Paris. Paul Delaroche was the second of two sons and was introduced to fine art at a young age. At age 19, Delaroche was afforded by his father the opportunity to study at l'École des Beaux-Arts under the instruction of Louis-Étienne Vatelet. Delaroche was urged by his father to focus on landscape painting while he was at l'école, because his older brother, Jules Hippolyte Delaroche, already focused on painting history. After 2 years at l'école, Delaroche voiced his lack of interest in landscapes exclusively, and acted on his overall disenchantment with the French academic system by leaving l'École des Beaux-Arts at the end of 1817. The following year he entered the studio of Antoine Jean Gros, where he was able to pursue his greater interest in history painting, for which he would receive wide acclaim. The schooling Delaroche received at l'École des Beaux-Arts, championing academic training, was pivotal. During his time spent in the atelier of Antoine Gros, his interest in history was awakened, and he produced his painting, Joan of Arc in Prison, which was exhibited in the Salon of 1824. Delaroche also studied the recent tradition of English history painting at the time, which he incorporated into his own productions. In 1828 he exhibited the first of his English history paintings, Death of Queen Elizabeth. Thus Delaroche's focus on English history brought him popularity in Britain in the 1830s and 1840s. In the 1830s he produced some of his most lauded works, including Cromwell gazing at the body of Charles I of 1831, the very moving Princes in the Tower of 1831, now in the Louvre, and his most acclaimed piece, The Execution of Lady Jane Grey of 1833, housed in the National Gallery, London. A work of striking impact and dramatic narrative. Recognizing his talent and popularity, the Académie des Beaux-Arts elected Delaroche a member of the society in 1832. A year following, he became a professor at l'École des Beaux-Arts. Horace Vernet and Paul Delaroche were contemporaries known for their distinct artistic styles. Vernet for his romantic military and patriotic scenes, and Delaroche for his dramatic historical works. Their professional relationship was deepened by personal family ties when Vernet's daughter Louise married Paul Delaroche. This familial bond is further evidenced by Delaroche's portrait of his father-in-law, Horace Vernet. Delaroche's love for Horace Vernet's daughter Louise was the absorbing passion of his life. He married Louise in 1835, in which year he also exhibited Head of an Angel, which was based on a study of her. It is said that Delaroche never recovered from the shock of her death in 1845, at the age of 31. After her loss, he produced a sequence of small, elaborate pictures of incidents in Jesus' Passion. He focused attention on the human drama of the Passion, as in a painting where Mary and the Apostles hear the crowd cheering Jesus on the Via Dolorosa, and another where St. John escorts Mary home after her son's death. After 1837, Delaroche stopped exhibiting his work altogether. The disappointing public reception of his painting, Saint Cecilia, along with his overall rejection of changing values in French society and government, led him to his self-imposed exile from the government-sponsored salons. However, Delaroche was commissioned and commenced the creation of his most famous and grand work, the Hemicycle, painted on a semicircular salon at l'École des Beaux-Arts. The ambitious painting of the Hemicycle was over 88 feet in length, a panoramic view including over 70 of the most famous artists since antiquity. The artists included represent Gothic, Greek, Roman, and Renaissance artisans. The subjects of this painting had great appeal to the artistic tastes of the 19th century. Delaroche painted with encaustic mixtures to create this monumental piece, a technique in which pigment is mixed with hot wax and painted onto the plaster to create a luster-rich surface. Delaroche did not complete this project alone. 4 of his students assisted him, and together they worked from 1837 to 1841. Unfortunately, in 1855, the work was severely damaged by fire, and Delaroche spent the last year of his life restoring this work. But when Delaroche died in 1856, restoration was taken over by Tony Robert Fleury, a student of Delaroche and a distinguished artist in his own right. As Delaroche's popularity with the public soared, he increasingly faced hostility from certain critics. While his works remained highly coveted by wealthy and aristocratic patrons, mounting critical disapproval has been identified as the primary reason behind his decision to withdraw from salon exhibitions after 1837. Nevertheless, Delaroche found alternative ways to maintain his connection with the public. He continued to send replicas, copies created with the assistance of his studio aides, of his most celebrated works to exhibitions in London and Berlin. Like many artists of his era, he viewed engraved reproductions of his paintings as essential to achieving lasting fame. Although these were luxury items, accessible only to affluent buyers at first, Delaroche's compositions proved exceptionally well suited for translation into a broader, less controlled culture of reproductions that operated through cheaper, unauthorized prints, books, and photography, ensuring that by mid-century, as one has observed, he had become the most widely known and acclaimed painter in the Western world. Paul Delaroche's enduring appeal lies in his masterful fusion of rigorous academic technique with compelling theatrical storytelling. As a supremely disciplined painter, he possessed an exacting eye for historical detail and human emotion, creating meticulously crafted works that transcended mere documentation to become vivid, dramatic narratives. His ability to combine the solid technical foundations of classical training with the emotional intensity of romantic sensibility resulted in paintings that were both visually stunning and psychologically penetrating. In our contemporary era, as artistic tastes have shifted once again toward appreciation for exceptional craftsmanship and technical mastery, Delaroche's work resonates with renewed relevance. His paintings stand as monuments to the golden age of academic art, when artists possessed both the skill and patience to create works of extraordinary refinement. The meticulous attention to fabric textures, architectural details, and facial expressions in works like The Execution of Lady Jane Grey and The Princes in the Tower demonstrates a level of artistic dedication that continues to inspire admiration. Delaroche's legacy reminds us that great art emerges not merely from conceptual innovation, but from the marriage of technical excellence with profound human insight, a combination that ensures his historical dramas remain as compelling today as they were to 19th century audiences. And finally, we have a link below for our latest eBook series offerings meant to inspire you with high-resolution illustrations. So check the link below, and thank you.